you're looking to dive into topics on how to live a happier, healthier, more fit, and long lifespan, then you've come to the right podcast. Living the Dream with me, Coach Damian Evans. Together, we will explore the topics on all things health, fitness, and wellness. Together, we will be lifelong learners on this journey to living the ultimate dream. What up, Dream Team? Coach D here coming at you from beautiful sunny San Diego, and welcome back to the Living the Dream podcast. We are going to conquer the middle of the week here and explore total wellness in order to reach for your goals and in order to live your dream life. And today's topic is big. Today is about decoding what your body's really saying so you can live happier, healthier, and pain-free for the long haul. Pain, tightness, stiffness, weakness, maybe you've felt them all. But what if I told you most people are responding to these things in the completely wrong way? They're stretching when they should be strengthening. They're resting when they should be moving. They're fearing the pain instead of trying to understand it. So today, let's flip the script. Let's teach you how to speak the language of your body so you can finally start a conversation with it instead of a constant war that you're fighting with it. Your body is a foreign country. Let's use a metaphor here. Your body is a foreign country. Imagine you land in a foreign country where you don't speak the language. Suddenly, someone is shouting at you in panic. You don't understand them. You try random things, pointing, shrugging, walking away. Maybe it helps. Maybe it makes them yell louder. That's what living with pain feels like. Your body is trying to speak to you. It is speaking to you, but you don't understand the language. So you ignore it, or you fear it, or guess at what it's trying to say and just trial and error shoot in the dark. And in doing these things, you miss the opportunity to work with your body instead of against it. Today, we're handing you the translation guide. Pain is an alarm, not a damage report. Pain is an alarm, not a damage report. Let's start with the big one, pain. Pain is not the same as injury. Pain is not the same as injury. Pain is an alarm system. According to the pain science researcher, Dr. Lorimer Moseley, pain is produced by the brain when it believes that the body is under threat or that something is not working right. That threat might be actual tissue damage, like a torn muscle or a sprained ankle. Most of the time I talk to people with pain, it's not this. And if it is this, you probably know that it's actual tissue damage. The threat might be perceived instability. This could be things like a weak core, so you have back pain. This could be poor posture, so you have neck pain. Instability in areas cause other areas that should be more unstable to tighten up. So this threat might be a perceived instability, which can be fixed by things like stretching or mobility. Definitely, it can be fixed by strength training. This threat could even be a psychological stress. And this is the one that we don't really want to accept very often. For me, I have been struggling with different types of chronic pain for a while now. And honestly, I think that it could be more on the side of psychological stress. I work out all the time. I move my body constantly, but I know I'm not creating actual tissue damage to feel the pain that I do feel. It could be an instability thing, but I don't know. I'm pretty good at I do Pilates once a week and I'm constantly doing mobility, but psychological stress. There's a book called The Body Keeps Score, a very famous book. Dr. Vessel Bandekirk, that book is amazing. If you struggle with chronic pain and you just cannot figure out what's going on, read The Body Keeps Score, and it might highlight and illuminate some things that you might not have had in your awareness. This psychological stress that causes pain. It heightens the nervous system, and that nervous system is an alert signal. So it could be any of these things. That means that you can feel real pain even when nothing is broken. And you can be injured, like having slipped discs. You could have herniated discs. You could have, I tore my pec muscle. You could have a real injury and not feel any pain at all. So pain isn't necessarily a damage report. It's an alarm system. Let's talk about what tightness in the body, what tightness really means. You say your hamstrings are tight, so you stretch them all day, every day, but they're still so tight. What gives? Well, here's the truth. Tightness doesn't mean shortness. It means your nervous system doesn't feel safe doing the things that you're asking it to do. So it's guarding that area. It's bracing. It's whispering to you, yo, we're not strong or stable here. What are you doing? Please don't stretch me any thinner. Please don't build me up. We're not strong or stable here. But when you strengthen that muscle or that movement, you send a safety signal to that brain. You find a regression that you can do pain-free, and you do that until it's so easy that you can progress and you can add a little bit of intensity to it, a little bit of weight to it, a little bit of range of motion to it. You're slowly showing the body that it is safe to be here. You restore that trust. You earn back the range of motion. And this is where a lot of people go really wrong. They have this pain, so they say, I'm going to avoid doing the thing that causes that pain. The doctor says, don't squat because your knees hurt. Never squat again. Don't deadlift anything over 25 pounds because your back hurts. Okay, well, you are not ever going to teach your body that it's safe to do those things. And if you ever want to do those things ever again, if you don't use it, you will lose it. But what you strengthen, it will definitely be able to be done in whatever period of time it takes you to get it done. So the action step here is, instead of only stretching your tight hips or your tight hamstrings, do some split squats. So strengthen the exercise, strengthen the muscle with an exercise. Load that tissue in your range that you can, in your weight selection that you can, what you're capable of doing, even if it means doing it assisted, holding on to something while you do a squat, maybe doing walking in a pool where there's no impact on the ground, but load that tissue, build confidence, and then you can stretch if you want. See what that might bring for you. Let's talk about stiffness. Stiffness isn't a bad thing. If you ever wake up feeling like the Tin Man, and this is definitely me more often than not, than I would like to admit, that's stiffness. And it's different from tightness. Stiffness is temporary. It's a temporary inflexibility, especially after sleeping or really hard training. It's your body's protective response to recovery and disuse. But stiffness has a secret. Stiffness loves movement. So when you move gently, when you get blood flow to go in and out of that area, when you allow the fascia that surrounds your muscle tissue to slide and glide the way that it was used to, and your joints get lubricated like gears warming up, that is what we're looking for to help with stiffness. Movement, light movement that you can do that is not anywhere near a workout, but does the things that needs to do to get the blood flow, to get the fascia moving, to get the joints lubricated. So an action step here, if you feel stiff in the morning, try 5 minutes of mobility. Have 5 moves that you go right to, that you don't have to like follow a video to. They're just the moves that feel the best for you. I like to do a supine twist. So right when I wake up, I'll take my right knee to my chest and then I'll take it across my body to the left. I'll stretch my right hip and my low back. I'll do it on the other side. And then I like to lift my leg in the air and like to do some hamstring flosses where I take my knee and I flex and extend my knee straight up in the air. So I'm stretching the back of my leg. I get out of bed, I drop into a deep squat, and I can shift my hips left and right, open up my chest, things that like I like to do that make me feel good, that I don't have to really think about. It's just I wake up, I go right into these things. What we're trying to avoid is going straight to the pill, straight to the bottle. Get some ibuprofen because, I'm feeling really stiff and sore, so I just want to get away from that pain. Try to avoid that. Think cat-cow with your spine. Think toe touches, standing and trying to drop down and do a little toe touch and roll back up. Think shoulder rolls forward and back. Think arm waves, those lymphatic Tai Chi moves that you can do to really help get some flow throughout your body. Give the body motion, and it'll give you back your range of motion. Let's talk about muscle shortness. Muscle shortness is real, but it's honestly pretty rare. So a lot of people think that their hamstrings are tight because they're short. That's honestly really rare. True muscle shortness, where the muscle is physically shortened, it's a lot less common than you think. Usually it happens after like a cast from an injury or a surgery. Once you have a surgery, that muscle and tendon and ligament, those actually get shorter. That's why when you try to extend your arm straight after you have your arm in a cast, it is excruciating. You're literally trying to lengthen that tissue. It happens often after long periods of disuse. So if you're a sedentary desk job worker, your hip flexors in the front of your body are probably a little more shortened than someone that doesn't sit. Or your chest and shoulder muscles in the front are a little more shortened from being rounded forward for years and years of doing the same movement. And then it also happens sometimes after neuromuscular issues. So things that happen with the neurological system, that muscle not firing correctly. These are all rare. These cases are, yes, they're real, but in these cases, yes, gentle, consistent stretching, they will help a lot. Long, static hold stretching. So like yin yoga, Y-I-N, yin yoga, 3 to 5 minute holds of actually letting that tissue be lengthened and then putting it on tension in that lengthened position definitely helps with this muscle shortness issue. But what's even more powerful is strength training through your available range of motion. So going light on the weight and actually letting that muscle feel some load. A lot of slow, lightweight, long range of motion movements here is what you're looking for when it comes to real muscle shortness. So if you can't touch your toes, try slow, eccentric, standing on a step, and then slowly lowering down into a Romanian deadlift motion. So like bending from the hips, trying to really go slow and own every inch. Do it with some light weights in your hands, and then work toward controlling it. You'll notice that your body wants to speed up where it lacks control. So think about trying to be really slow on this. 10-second reps of an exercise, getting that muscle to go into a full stretch position and then into a full shortened position in whatever range of motion that you have available. Progress equals strength plus patience. Strength plus patience equals where you'll find your progress here. Let's talk about my lower back hurts. And I'm going to bring a case study here. I get this all the time. This is one of the most common things that I see is low back pain. A really common one. You sit all day, your low back feels tight, you stretch it, you feel relief for 30 seconds, and then the pain returns. Here's what's likely happening. We kind of touched on it, but your hip flexors in the front, the muscles that bring your leg up to your chest and the muscles that fold your chest down towards your legs, those are your hip flexors. Those and also your thighs, your quads, those are overactive. They're in that shortened, tightened, squeezing position all day long, holding you in that sitting position. Now, what is the backside of your body doing? Well, your glutes, your butt, your core muscle, they're underactive. And your spine is asking for help, not from a stretch, but your spine needs support, right? What should we do? Well, what we do at Sweat Circuit is we do hip flexor mobilizations. So you get in a position where you can flex your hip flexors. And if you go on YouTube and you type in hip flexor mobility, you'll find tons of great stuff. This is not a stretch, it's mobility. So you're getting into a position where you are getting your knee behind your hip. Instead of your knee out in front of you, like when you're sitting, you're doing the opposite movement. And then you're activating the muscles in the front of the hip to be able to show the body that it can activate that muscle in that lengthened position. What else do? We do glute bridges, bird dogs, and dead bugs. So glute bridges will turn on the muscles of the backside of your body that often go dormant when you're sitting all the time. They don't need to be used. But when you can tell the body and you can send that motor neuron, that motor unit to the muscles of your backside and fire that muscle. Or the bird dogs, where you are on all fours in a tabletop position and you reach your opposite arm and leg as far away from each other as you can. And you hold that stability on one arm and one leg. And you're using the backside of your shoulders and the backside of your legs to hold those limbs up. That is what's teaching the body to fire the muscles of the backside that are dormant when you sit. Dead bugs to help your core, laying on your back with all four limbs up in the air, and then taking your opposite arm and leg as far as you can while trying to keep your lower back pinned to the floor. Your core has to fire so hard to be able to lengthen an opposing limb to do that. So glute bridges, bird dogs, dead bugs, go on YouTube and see what those look like. You'll find a 30-second video easily at what those look like. Throw those into your movement snacks throughout the day. And then also we think about breathing drills to calm the nervous system. When the nervous system is amped up in a protection mode, that is just your body being in this sympathetic state. You're probably breathing in at a higher rate than you're breathing out. Your breath is probably short and shallow. Your breath is probably, you sometimes hold it when you're reading emails or when you're concentrating really hard. These are all sympathetic signals to your nervous system to stay tight. So breathing drills where you extend your exhale, where your exhale is twice as long as your inhale. My favorite is the 4-7-8 breath. In for 4, pause for 7, and then slowly let it out for 8. When you emphasize that long exhale, that is a parasympathetic signal. That is a down-regulating signal. That, especially if you're in a static stretch like a yin yoga pose and you do that, your body will be allowed by the nervous system to go into those longer ranges of motion. And it'll understand that we can do this now because we're not in a place where we're in danger. Because if you are in one position all day long and then you quickly try to get into another position, your body is not set for that, especially if you haven't moved throughout the day. So it's going to be in a protection mode. You don't really fix your pain here by rubbing it or by taking a medication. You fix it by restoring balance. Restoring balance. So what position are you in all day long? How can I get my body into the exact opposite position? Most of us need to work on back bends. I highly recommend if you don't have one of those big physio balls, those exercise balls that are, you can use them as a desk chair, get one of those and then just roll backwards on it. And get your spine to go into an extension instead of a flexion. Spend some time with your arms open wide on that thing, opening up your chest. That right there will help to restore balance back to the body. Now, there's some common excuses here. Let's tackle what the skeptics will say. I don't have time to do my mobility. My job keeps me at my desk all day long. My body's just broken. Maybe you've been screaming this at me this whole entire episode. I don't have time. My job won't let me. My body is just broken. I've been this way for 2 decades. I got to be real with you here. These are not absolute truths. These are stories that you are telling yourself. And these stories can change. I find myself telling myself stories all the time. And I'm like, hold on. That's not real. That's just a story I'm creating. 1 minute of movement every hour is 8 minutes a day. That's 8 minutes more than you would have done before. 1 minute of movement every hour. 3 glute bridges and a plank while you brew your coffee, that equals better posture by noon. If you have a desk job, set a 30-minute timer, stand up, do 10 squats, sit back down. That's a rep snack. That is a movement snack. The key here is consistency. It's not complexity. It's not intensity. It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be a ton. It just has to be consistent. Your body is not broken. It's not mad at you. It's not fragile. You are not as fragile as you think you are. I promise you. And pain is frustrating. I I can't stress this enough. I want to empathize if you're feeling pain. I am right there with you. Many, many days of the week, I am right there with you. And I'm like, I preach this thing where I'm talking to people about how pain is psychological, how we are stronger than we think. And then I'm going through pain myself, and it's so frustrating. But then I realize, like, have I really been taking care of my body the way that it needs? Have I been trying to find balance? Am I in this amped up state because I'm already defaulting to that amped up state? That's just how I run. And I'm like, okay, this is a story I'm telling myself, and my body's trying to tell me something. It's literally a foreign speaker in my face yelling at me to calm down, to slow down, to recover more, and I'm just driving away. So I don't want this to come off like I'm preaching at you like, you can fix this. I'm just saying your body is communicating in the best way that it knows how. So today, I hope you learned how to better listen and better adapt your choices and your actions to better align with what your body is asking from you. So the next time your hip whispers at you, or maybe your shoulder shouts at you, don't panic. Do not panic. This is not forever. You're not fragile. You're not broken. Just pause. Ask what it needs. Move with intention and speak back with strength. Speak back with strength training, mobility, with movement, light movement that you're capable of in that time without causing more damage. You're not a hostage anymore. You are fluent in your own body. So if this episode helps shift your mindset around pain, and you know someone that is struggling with pain and they could benefit from something that we talked about today, please share it with them, because pain it's a really, really dark thing. It's really lonely. Some people just don't get it, and it's really hard to explain what you're going through. So I totally understand that. I'm right there with you. I really want to be able to get this message out about how we can take more responsibility. We can take more and be more empowered and do some things to help us earn our way out of pain. It's all about consistency. It's all about making sure that you try to input these movement snacks into your day. And we did an episode on Training Tuesday, just last episode. So definitely check that out if you didn't listen to that one about movement snacks. But if you have any issues with pain, please message me. I have content for days. I have book recommendations. I have podcasts that I can send you. It's something that I save in my phone. And I really, really want to help people with this issue because it's something that's near and dear to my heart. I've dealt with it for a long time. But until next time, I want you to move with intention. And remember that healing isn't about fighting your body. It's about finally listening. We got this. And that's it, my friends. Thank you for joining me on this Wellness Wednesday episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Please share the knowledge that you gained with your friends and family and hold each other accountable. If this episode inspired you, share it with a friend who may be suffering from some sort of chronic pain. And to support this podcast and help it grow, please subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. Hit that subscribe button. It really does help. And leave a review, leave a comment, like the episode if you're listening to it on anything that has that ability. It really helps the algorithm spit it out to people who could benefit from this content. It's a non-cost way, and it really, really helps. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And if you're posting a social media story, take a screenshot of this episode and tag me at livingthedream_podcast or at Coach Damien SD, and write a little note on how this episode benefited you so that others can see and they can listen and they can benefit. Let us know what we missed in this episode. There's a ton that we didn't cover. Let us know what we got wrong. We want to know. Message us if you have any suggestions or tips that would help your Living the Dream team that we can discuss on future episodes. I will be right here with you, working on making us stronger, happier, and healthier humans. Until next time, friends, keep living the dream.